In this video, we're going to take a look at how to name alcohols and ethers, two more homologous series of organic compounds. So let's start with alcohols. Alcohols are given the general name of alcan, X, all. So they all end in the ending all. The X indicates what number the OH group appears at, and then the alcan is from the alkane name, dropping the E ending and replacing it with the X all. So in terms of numbering, numbering is chosen to give the hydroxyl group, which is our functional group here, the lowest possible number. So priority is now given to an OH group for numbering. There's no number needed for methanol or ethanol because the hydroxyl group can only appear at that particular carbon. So it's actually a little bit redundant if you add the number in there. General formula for alcohols is given as CN, H2N plus 1, and then OH. Okay, or so CN, H2N plus 1, and OH. For ethers, ethers have the functional group where they have an alkyl group attached to an oxygen attached to another alkyl group. So their general name is given as X-alkoxy, and then the alkane. So if, for example, the R prime is the longest chain, then you would take that name as the alkane, and then the alkoxy becomes this alkyl group plus the oxygen. And that becomes a branch, so you name it like a substituent. The numbering is chosen to give the alkoxy group the lowest possible number, so that does take priority in numbering. And like I said, you treat the alkoxy like a substituent group on an alkane. So let's go and take a look at some examples. Our first example here, the first thing we want to do is recognize that we have an OH. So this is an alcohol, and its ending is going to end then in OL. Next, we want to find the longest chain that that alcohol is attached to. So we've got a 4-carbon chain here. And then we number giving the hydroxyl group priority. So we're going to go numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that means the hydroxyl group is attached to carbon 1. So this is going to become a butane, but taking off the E, -1, -all. Okay, example 2. So again, we're just going to recognize we got an OH group here. So this is an alcohol again. And then we need to find the largest chain that's attached to this alcohol. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it doesn't matter if we go straight or down. Both will give us 5. We have another group attached to the main chain. So I'm just going to highlight that one in red there. And we're going to number our carbon chain to give our hydroxyl group the lowest possible number. So we number from left to right in this case. And so we have a pentan 2-all, and we have a methyl group on number 4. So this is going to become 4-methyl. And then pentan 2-all. Okay. Now sometimes you might see this written in condensed format in textbooks or other places. And I just kind of want to show you what that looks like because it is a little weird. So you could see this written as CH3CH and then in brackets OH. Brackets usually indicate that something's branched. Okay, so that would be a branch. And then we keep going CH2, CH, and then branch. And then I ran out of room, but that would be on the same line there, CH3. Okay, so just know branches are usually denoted by brackets, and we can write OH as our condensed form for an alcohol group. Okay, let's take a look at one more example here for alcohols. We have a hydroxyl here and here, and our main chain, 4 carbons long. If we go numbering, then we have hydroxyl groups at 1 and 2. So you can have multiple hydroxyl groups. In this case, the name changes a little bit, and we would name it the full alkane name dash 1 comma 2, just to denote where those two hydroxyl groups are. And then we're going to put a di in there and then all. So this would be a butane 1,2-diol. All right, our next example, we're going to recognize that we have a methoxy group here. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight that in red because we're treating that like a branch. And then our longest chain attached to it is 2 carbons long. So this one in this case is going to be methoxyethane. There's kind of no need to indicate what number this methoxy group is on, because it doesn't matter if we go like the numbering, it's on carbon 1. So if it was on this carbon instead, it's still carbon 1. So no need for numbers here. Now our final example, again, we have a methoxy group here. So we're going to highlight that in red first. Then we're going to look for the longest chain attached to it. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if we start here, here, or here. Either way is going to give us 3 carbons. So I'm just going to be a little bit different and go sideways here, which means that this methyl group is also attached to the main chain. So it doesn't really matter where we start numbering, because both will give us the same numbers. We have a methoxy group on 2 and a methyl group on 2. Now at this point, we're following rules for alkanes. So we're going to go alphabetical, and methoxy comes before methyl just because of the O here versus the Y. So we're going to have 2 methoxy, 2 methyl, and then it's a 3 carbon chain, so propane. All right, so that's some examples of alcohols and ethers and how to name them. That's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one.